All right.
All right.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for coming tonight. We're really excited to get this info call recorded as well. So for those of you joining us later, also thank you for joining us on that. I did want to say that on previous info calls, I've given sort of a 10-minute introduction into Mexico. I'm not going to do that here because we have both Iñaki and Celestino joining us, and Ellie as well. And so I thought we'd do more of a conversation for this one. And so this is an info call specifically to talk about our first trip of this summer, which is July 17th through 25th, called MyComida Rupestre. It is the second run of this trip, and don't tell the other adventures, but this was my favorite one last year, and actually inspired us a lot for how we started doing the other adventures. So without further ado, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Zachary, and this is my wife, Kim, and we are the Mushroom Hunters. We have been doing mushroom tours here since 2019 in Oaxaca and in Mexico, and actually we met Celestino at the Cuajimoloyas Mushroom Festival in 2019, and have been working with him since. And I got into mushrooms, 25 years ago, picking azaresan mushrooms, a psychedelic mushroom in Oregon. And actually, for those of you who are part of NAMA, there's a movie event tonight, and one of those movies is about the azaresans by Hamilton Pavek of Hamilton's Mushrooms out of Colorado. And so we're excited to tune into that as well. Yeah, we moved down to Mexico almost 2 years to the day. March 15th actually will be our 2-year anniversary. We are currently in Guanajuato, I think, 2 years ago. And I'll let Kim talk about herself.
Sure, yeah, I'm Kim. I am the other half of the Mushroom Hunters. And I fell in love with mushrooms about the same time I fell in love with Zach. And it really changed the way I experienced the forest. And it's been incredible learning more about both like the edible species of mushrooms, but also for me as somebody who's loves fiber arts and natural dyeing, it's also been really incredible to learn the colors that we can get from mushrooms. So I really enjoy our tours because we get to do that. And that's part of Traveling Traders Bazaar, which you'll see on the presentation, which is my company that does more of the artisan focused hands-on maker adventures here in Oaxaca.
Yeah, so we actually do adventures throughout the year, our mushroom adventures, because Oaxaca specifically is a pretty condensed rainy season, and therefore mushroom season. Our mushroom tours tend to be between July and September here in Oaxaca. But Kim at Traveling Traders Bazaar has quite a few in-depth artisan adventures that don't necessarily have to do with mushrooms at all. But
like our weaving and embroidery and
yeah, some really cool things.
Learning.
And so yeah, the mycologist, where we use the mushrooms for dyeing, really brings together the two of us, and it's also a lot of fun. So Celestino is with us as well. He is local to the area. He was were you born in Cuaji or La Tuvi? You were born in La Tuvi, right? Let me unmute you here.
Let me do a full introduction.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm from La Tubi. It's not one of the towns that we're gonna get to see on our trip, but I've been for the past 13 years working with my community, and then I'm an orchid specialist, not by profession but by love.
I mean,
and then
profession in the fact that you do it all the time.
What happened?
You do orchids constantly. That's pretty professional.
Well, when outside, my newborn son is that the best pictures I want to get him, and get a picture of him by a flower, by an orchid flower. So he will be the pollinizer.
Your new favorite little orchid.
Yeah. So Celestino had a brand new son 3 months ago now.
3 months and a half now.
Angel, we just got to meet him a couple of days ago. He's cute. So recently put together an amazing. Celestino, you want to talk about the project you did?
Yes. Recently I have put a book together. My whole topic about conservation. I'm against all the conservation projects that has been going on in the city or the state or the country, is because we don't have a proper understanding of what is to be put out there. So for me is if we have to reforestate, then let's put what has been there originally. And then in order to call it a reforestation project, is once the species, all species, talking about the flora and fauna, insects, will come back together. So with a few projects that we've been doing, we have put a book together to show the flora and fauna of the community for the people. And then this is everything we have in the community, with botanical names. We're trying to work in a conservation project where the school or even the community can be aware of what we're doing in terms of education throughout what we have in the forest.
And the book is really fantastic. It's Ellie's photos.
Oh, we will bring the book when we come together on the trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think what's cool about this is that Celestino has been guiding and leading the Sierra Nortes for 10 years. And the book is really an example of like a concrete example of all the work that he's been doing. But
Right.
he's been working in these different communities, and that's part of our trip with Rupestre, is really getting to stay with 3 different of the mountain communities there, which he's very familiar with. One of them, most of his family is in.
Yeah, grandmas, uncles, aunts, cousins. We're gonna, let's see. Oops, I'm gonna click. All right. Now I'd like to turn to Mr. Iñaki. Iñaki is a mycologist out of Guadalajara, and we first met Iñaki at the Mixteca Mushroom Festival in 2022 here in Oaxaca, and then happened to be at the same events with him several times for the rest of the season as well. And so we got to meet him and really just loved his energy and his incredible depth of knowledge. And so we had him as our guest mycologist for Rupestre last year. And we're really excited to have him back this year. Iñaki, do you want to talk a little bit about what is it about Mexico that's so important in terms of its relationship with both the people, the ecology, and the mushrooms?
Well, nice to meet everyone. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Kim. Nice to talk to you, Celestino. Woo! And thank you for being here. Yes, I'm a mycologist, originally from Guadalajara. So I have seen after the colonization, many knowledge about mushrooms we have lost, but this have been the knowledge of our ancestors. So I think we are recovering and we are reintegrating this because we are like a biocultural country. So it's very important to keep on preserving and trying to recover in the original knowledge of our tribes. That's why for me, I'm just related with mushrooms, but also working with some other tribes around the world, around Mexico. And yes, anything that I can help you, I'm available.
Awesome.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, somehow, yeah. Okay, cool.
And what drew you to mushrooms in the first place?
What did lead me to the mushrooms? Yeah, I was very young, I was 18 years old, and I was like lost in my life. Somehow I went with my friends to the forest to try some sacred mushrooms, and I didn't knew I was alive. So for me, that was my reborning time at 18. So my mother threw me to this world very hardly, and I was like, I didn't knew it until I was 18, and I tried the sacred mushrooms from Mexico. So yeah, I decided to be a biologist, and finally, yeah, I have around 15 years growing, cultivating mushrooms, native species, and also working with wild species, developing projects of production or reintegration to this ecosystem, or also teaching the people, like in the case of MyComida. We gave a workshop how to grow oyster mushrooms in Oaxaca, in Sierra Norte last year. So it was awesome. So I think we want to continue with this activity because it's a lot of importance of these mushrooms for the people to eat and to have some cheap food and to take advantage of the residuals of the farming. And
I think that was
Yeah,
what's
so
impressive is that, you know, there's so much extra corn husk, corn waste that's been used. A lot of it's used for feed for cattle, but in the case of what we did last year, and actually I can advance our slide. Whoops. There we go. Super. So for MyComida Rupestre last year, one of the things that what we really try to do as we're working with communities is ask them what it is they want, what it is they're looking for, what do we have that that we can bring for them. And so last year with Iñaki, we were able to teach cultivation using the leftovers of their corn harvest, which was really amazing because it's just sitting around and you can bag it up or boil it, bag it up with some of the spawn we brought. And so that was really great. We actually did almost an entire, what I call the Myco Fest for the community last year with an ID table, some cooking demonstrations, dyeing demonstrations, how to cultivate. And that was in Spanish for the community that we were staying with as part of a thank you for allowing us to be there. And that really was sort of the pinnacle of this incredible experience. So sorry. So besides Iñaki and Celestino, I also would like to introduce Marta, who is on the lower left-hand side. Marta is the local hungera of Cuajimoloyes, and we'll be doing a cooking class with her at her kitchen there, and she also comes foraging with us during our trips while we're in Cuajimoloyes. Up at the top next to Celestino is Reina Mendoza. She is the local hungera of El Queresal, which is where we did the Myco Fest last year. And Reina, hungera is actually in Spanish, in Mexican Spanish specifically, there is a verb honger, which is to pick. It does not exist outside of Mexico, and so the women are called hongueras, and the men hongueros, those who pick the mushrooms. And so working with them is amazing because they're really keeping alive a tradition that's been going for millennia, as far as we know, a long time. The knowledge of ecology, of the mushrooms, of the seasons, of soils, of all of that is wrapped up in there.
And in Cuajimoloyes, you can also see the next generation that's coming up of, you know, some as young as 9, who, or actually I would say one was on the mom's back, because we had a few members of the community come out with us last time we were in Cuajimoloyes. And, you know, they know their mushrooms and they know them young, because it's also quite a big economy, local economy for the folks in Cuajimoloyes and in the mountains, because mushrooms are something that the people in the valley would like. So they bring them down and sell them in the markets here.
So talk a little bit about this trip, something that is just, I mean, it just hit such a chord last year that it's so exciting to do that again. And so this one is specifically, Rupestre in Spanish is something along the lines of cave paintings, like it's like cave cheek, I guess. I'm not exactly sure.
Rustic.
Rustic. And so this particular one, we go up into the mountains. We go up into the mountains and work with the mountain communities who are up there and living and farming and growing almost everything that they're eating. And so we eat with them in their kitchen sometimes, in small restaurants that they have that they work for the community. But we always start these trips in and finish in Oaxaca City, because Oaxaca is known as one of the culinary meccas in the world. And you cannot do a culinary trip without visiting some of the best restaurants I've ever eaten at, honestly. And then we'll go up into the mountains and we get some really fun hikes. We're actually going to be hiking between villages. It's one of Celestino's specialties. Of course, we'll be gathering mushrooms along the way. And in Cuajimoloyes and in El Queresal, we get to go on some spectacular hikes with some geography and geology that is mind-blowing, not to mention the mushrooms, as well as cooking demonstrations, dyeing demonstrations, eating with the communities. We're going to learn about the Milpa system, which is actually the origin of the Three Sisters system that you've heard about probably from Native American gardening. And we'll be spending a full 6 nights up in the Sierra Nortes in the mountains. And it is absolutely stunningly beautiful up there. Did you want to add anything?
you did a beautiful job at it, sharing all of this.
Oh, I did not mention Monte Alban. Do you want to talk about Monte Alban?
Yeah, before we head into the mountains, we'll actually go to a over 2,000-year-old site that rests right above Oaxaca City. They started to, the Zapotecs started to clear the mountain there in 400 BC. It is really an impressive site. We have an incredible guide named Monzi who really walks us through not only the archaeology of it, but how the site functioned or like what they know from the archaeology of how the site functioned and how the culture functioned back in that day, which I think gives you a lot of insight and foundation for when we go into the mountains and you see how people are living in, similar in that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the main things we really want to bring across in for folks that have 1 week in Oaxaca is that Oaxaca is a cradle of civilization on this earth. We think of Greece or Rome or China. This area is the birthplace of corn, pumpkins, beans, chilies, and so many things that are monumentally important worldwide. Corn is the #1 grown product now in the world. And the civilizations and the people here have the same depth of knowledge and the same depth of wisdom that any other cradle civilization has. And so we really, by visiting the Mitla caves as well, which are 12,000-year-old cave paintings and areas where they found some of the original seeds of pumpkins, as well as visiting Monte Alban, which is only 9,500 years after the Mitla caves. A city that was around for 1,300 years, from 500 BC until 800 AD. And so by visiting those, we really bring in some context for what it is the Zapotec people are doing now. And a lot of these villages, they speak Zapotec at home. So this isn't like a bygone era. This is something that's still very modern and very happening. Right. So for those who would like to join, you can apply at the Fungivore. There's a link there that will take you to an application page. Just to dispel we've never turned anyone down. The application is for us to get to know folks better, physical abilities, allergies, various things that can make or break a trip if you don't know about them. And so it's really important for us to know those in advance. Nobody that's applied and wanted to come has ever not been able to come. So the application review is really us reading it, and then we'll reach out, and there's an option in the application to do a follow-up call, which can be a one-on-one with myself and Kim. And if all goes well, we'll send a payment link and you can secure your spot to join us. We have a refund for cancellations because we have payment up front in full. That includes a $500 deposit for us to secure hotels and rides and guides and all the various things. And then we're always available for questions via text, WhatsApp. We can, as we said, schedule a phone call. We can do follow-up phone calls, however you like.
And we can take questions now.
Yeah, let's check the chat.
If anybody wants to, you can post them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself to ask any question.
BC, okay, awesome. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute yourselves.
Hey guys.
Hey David.
Hello. I just wanted to get some more information. I'm the immediate past president of SVIMS, the South Vancouver Island Mycological Society, and was their president for about 3 years till 2023. And I'm also on the medicinal committee of NAMA.
Oh, great.
All right. So that's why I'm trying to find out. And at some point, I'm going to bring it up with people over here at SVIMS, all right, as well. I know it's a little bit late for July of this year, but I'm sure, we'll be in contact with you. At least I hope we will. And I'll pass it on to the speakers committee as well.
Amazing.
So, all right.
Appreciate that.
But it's a very exciting program.
Awesome.
All right. And the local knowledge is also exciting.
Yeah. No, I mean, when we're out with Celestino, we're also out with his aunts and grandmothers and uncles in the Hungary. I mean, it's a family affair for sure. The communities really are that, and they have been for a long, long, long time. Amazing.
So I may have to contact you and, at some point if I need more information as we go along.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw our email in the chat right now. It's pretty easy to remember as well. Just info@thefungivore.com.
Yeah, I think I already got that on.
Yeah, and then that's got our phone number, my phone number, my text number in it. So feel free to send me a message at any time. I'd love to hear from you guys. My mother is currently in Bellingham, Washington. So
all right, so just a hop, skip, and a jump.
Skip and a jump, yes, sir. Karen or Dennis, you guys came a little late. Do I have anything that you missed or any questions you would like us to answer?
We did record this, so we will send everybody a recording.
Dennis, I see you.
Great.
Okay. All right. Y'all want to say goodbye? Iñaki, Celestino, you have anything else to add?
Thank you very much for your time. It's very interesting about medicinal stuff, like David was saying. There's a huge knowledge about a lot of medicinal plants in every region. So yeah, we stick to that, and I hope we meet you soon, David, there in Sierra Norte. And thank you for inviting. Thank you for your time, for listening to us. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Zach. Celestino, Ellie, love you. Hope to meet you soon.
Thank you, Iñaki, for joining.
Thanks, Iñaki.
David, did you see the Nat Geo article recently that had a bunch of stuff from Robert Rogers in it?
No, I didn't. I don't think so. I saw your links to the other talks.
Oh yeah, no.
And Elisa Allen and all
Kim,
those.
Kim just ran into it. It's a Nat Geo feature, and it's got Robert Rogers from Edmonton.
Yes,
talking about
I know Robert.
Yeah, no,
he used to be on the medicinal committee, but he's stepped down at NAMA for that. With Dennis Benjamin and all those, they've stepped down because they're preparing editions of their books, I think.
Oh, right. I'm sure. Amazing.
I know Dennis is. He's got the Bible on poisonings.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Awesome. Alrighty.
All right.
We're gonna end it there. If anyone has any questions, please do not hesitate to send us an email. And when you get a response, we'll have a text on there. There's a ton of info as well as the itinerary on the website, which is thefungivore.com. And we hope to hear from y'all. Bye, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
Bye, guys. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Good seeing you again.
We love you.
Bye, Ellie.
Love you.